Hola guys and girls, and welcome to a factual tier list on the Digimon TCG meta once 1.5 drops. So, the important thing is, what do I actually mean with factual? I personally am not a huge fan of tier lists, usually. Like, this is gonna be different, but we'll get to that later. The reason why I don't really like those is because most of the time, like 99% or something around that, it's just like a reflection what the experience are, what the opponent faced, and what their personal opinions are of the creator of the tier list. I mean, that's kind of the point I get. But like, people take tier lists, I think, way too serious if they're just based on one person's opinion. So tier lists I can get behind is, for example, if you have like you have actual data to base it on. Be it you, I don't know, you have like a 100 people and you ask them to rank these, and then you take the average of that, and then boom, that's tier list. That's tier list I can get behind. So what I wanted is I want to create a tier list for the upcoming 1.5 meta, which is in some way based on actual data, so we can actually have a discussion and talk about it. It just doesn't end up like, yeah, this is my opinion, this is your opinion. I mean, yeah, I guess that's that. So I want to actually have something to talk about here. And yeah, have something to base it on. And what I decided to base this on is to look, of course, I can't look at the meta of 1.5 yet, because it's not out. I can't really tell. It's all speculation, it would be all my opinion, and that's what we do not want in this video. We do want to base it on things that happen. So what we have to do, we have to look at the Japan meta. Like, once BT3 drops, then we are going to have the same card pool than what we have once 1.5 drops. So I have to look, what did the meta look like in Japan when at the time that BT3 dropped, till to the point that we got new cards after that, which in this case is that the new starter decks dropped, the purple, the green, and the black one. That's when new cards got into the metagame, into the card pool, which we won't have once 1.5 drops. We will have them later, so there can be a new discussion done there. But as of now, I'm just looking at this time period. And there's this cool website, Digimon Card Meta, which collects all kinds of decks which topped in tournaments all over the country. In Japan, and they started doing that in the Europe, US too, but of course the Japan database is just way bigger. So what I basically just looked at every deck that's there and see what kind of deck it is. Like, to try to generalize it. Okay, this is like a Imperialdramon deck, this is a Omnimon deck, this is a purple Beelzemon deck, something like that. So I guess that's the point where my opinion comes into play, because sometimes it gets a bit muddy, like how do you, like, what label do you put on that kind of deck? So I guess that's where my opinion comes into play, into this actually. But yeah, what I did do, I just counted, like, what are the topping decks in the metagame there. And then what I did after that, because then I had like a list of 20 different decks, which I generalized in different colors, stuff like that. Then I started consolidating them. Like, for example, Imperialdramon I already talked about. There's a green variant, a blue variant. I put them together to Imperialdramon. Most of them are blue, but we're gonna get to that once we talk about that. And then I cut every deck out which didn't top at least 5 times. So of course there are gonna be wild ones, which, like, for example, one time a Ragnalordmon red deck top, but that's like 1 out of, I guess, 150 decks, and I don't really think that's like variance spot, even in the, because it's kind of difficult to put it, like, to say, okay, that's why it has to be in the lowest tier, because it's still topped. That's why the reason why this tier list is going to be a bit different. Just because something is in the D tier on this list doesn't mean it's a bad deck. It just means out of these, you can see right here, it's the least, it topped the least. That's basically all you can see. It topped at least 5 times, but not as much as the others above it. And yeah, after this whole process, I narrowed down this, like, I think it was 150 to 200 decks, something of that nature, to around 100 decks down, and 100 total decks and 8 deck types. So we're going to talk about 8 different, or is it 8 that we actually count? No, it's 7. Oh, actually counted down to 7. Yeah, 7 different decks, archetypes, I want to say, which are the most prominent in the Japan 1.5 meta, and due to that we can make like a prediction on how the US, European, English-speaking meta is going to look like. So that's what we're going to do. We start from the bottom, and yeah, then I will talk a little bit of the deck, and yeah, a little about the data there. So we start at the bottom, we start at D tier, and the first deck we have right here is Rookie Rush. Green, blue, Rookie Rush. There was actually one other Rookie Rush deck, I think it was like a red-blue variant, which topped as well, but most of them, like all the others, are the green-blue variant. And looking at my things right here, 5 times. They like made the cut right there. Like 5%, 5 of the 100 decks were Rookie Rush decks. And yeah, they do get new rookies to play with. Like you see, the Beelzemon already is there in the thing. So it's a rookie which is over 500, which gets makes sure that it's not in range of the Volcanicdramon. But yeah, not too much to talk about. It's a very prominent deck as of right now as well, and it still will be. Like I said, just because it's in D tier doesn't mean it's a bad deck. It just means that out of the 7, it topped the least. So don't be all your Rookie Rush fans out there bash me. Like, that's a good thing about this. Like, you can't actually bash me for these placings, because that's just the facts. This is the factual part of the tier list. This is what happened. Like, if you want to complain to someone, complain to the Japan players, which didn't top more with Rookie Rush. But yeah, we have Rookie Rush in the D tier. I mean, you all know it's plays pretty straightforward. You play rookies for cheap, you run the security, they die. And then you have like your puppet mons and stuff like that to at least get some value out of the fact that if the opponent, because you play a lot of rookies, security is weak, opponent attacks securities, the Digimon survives, they are suspended. So to at least get some value out of that, you play the Puppetmon to keep them suspended and then push for big damage. You have your Flower Cannons to get around blockers, you have your Shinegreymons to get around blockers. Flower Cannon security into Puppetmon basically wins game on its own. Then Hammer Sparks and all the other blue memory manipulation shenanigans to make sure to always have good card draw, because Upamon, of course, most easy enabled card draw in the game as of now. And yeah, to not run out of gas because you keep playing cheap rookies, and then yeah. That's the strategy of the deck. Like, that's if you never played against or with Rookie Rush, that's the whole idea. Still pretty effective. Definitely not what the developer wants. With all the cards they kept printing, which are against Rookie Rush. Because obviously the core mechanic of the game is the evolution part. It's the core mechanic of Digimon in general, be it the anime or something else. And I think they did not expect Rookie Rush to be just so effective, and I do not want that to be so effective. So that's why they keep printing that. But yeah, 1.5 is still gonna be there, and that's the only one in C tier. Now we go one up into, only one in D tier. Now we go up into the C tier, and the first deck we see right there is Purple Beelzemon Millenniumon decks. Purple gets a little bit more support in the area that they can evolve cheaper, and that enables stuff like Beelzemon, for example, to be way more effective. There are other purple decks which topped as well. There's Lilithmon decks. There are one Metagame deck, I think. But most of them are with the Beelzemon. Some play Piedmon, some don't. All of them play Millenniumon. And yeah, basically it's 4 Beelzemon plus some other Mega. Because with the more being able to evolve more cheaper due to the Meramon line you're getting in 1.5, you don't have to rely on Impmon having a lot of your trash and then put Beelzemon and Impmon to that. You can get to Beelzemon through other means as well for rather cheap, and then remove something. And then still have a strong attack on the board, which most likely will survive security and stuff like that. And then, even on that, you have a target for Millenniumon to remove even more. So Purple does what Purple does, which is removing things very efficiently. And they're still going to do that in 1.5, even a bit more efficient due to all the, at least the evolving removal part with Beelzemon and Millenniumon, stuff like that. So, yeah, it's down here in the C tier. Like I said, I say down, but to reiterate, doesn't mean it's a bad deck. In general, let's talk about the data. Out of the 100 decks which topped, Rookie Rush topped 5 times. This Beelzemon, one kind of Beelzemon variant, topped 7 times. I will, by the way, for every of these decks, I will put a link to a deck list as example. Like, this is doesn't mean it's the best one. For that, I had to play with them and against them. It's just an example of a deck list which topped, which I categorized as one of these. So you can have an idea like how a deck like this looks like. Of course, there are going to be always differences in distribution and card number. But yeah, that's all for C tier actually. Now we go into the B tier. And the B tier we actually have 3 decks because they all 3 have the same top percentage, top number, top thing, majigga. They all top 14 times out of 100. So 14% top percentage. And starting with the first one of that, we do start with one I personally am very excited about, which is Black Ragnalordmon. This I counted as black because most of the decks, out of the 14 decks, 10 of them had a black base, some of them were pure black, most of them are black-red hybrids, and 4 of the 14 had a red base. So that's why I colored them black, because most of the times you're gonna play the black base, and then put some other red cards in there, and yeah, have a hybrid deck that way, not the other way around. But yeah, I personally am very excited for Ragnalordmon. Black is a color I enjoy a lot personally. Of course, in 1.0 it's kind of bad. And Ragnalordmon definitely gets some viability there. You can play it hybrid with the red and gets access to stuff like the Gaia Force, which is very nice removal. And Ragnalordmon itself is very strong, gets a lot of different keywords, be it the security +1, be it blocker, be it piercing, be it whatever. There's a lot of things that this thing can get and be a huge threat to the opponent. And yeah, just very nice in general. That's Ragnalordmon for you. Not too much to talk about there. Like I said, this is the deck will try to build once the new set drops, because yeah, I like the theme a lot with evolution. To get another evolution down there, and it's like you can, it's a nice deck. I want to try to build, but yeah, it's one of the B tier decks, and going on, one of the big surprises, to be honest, for me, because obviously you already have an idea like what's good and what's bad in 1.5, and this deck I definitely saw higher up there. But what we see as well, with the same topping percentage of 14, we do see yellow Shinegreymon. Like, everyone was talking, like, at least the ones I talked to were like, okay, we're gonna see Shinegreymon decks, they're tier 1, they're the best deck, or one of the best decks. But actually, looking at the meta in Japan, it didn't top as often as other decks, or actually at the same amount as the Ragnalordmon decks. And when I think about it, and I actually talked about it with some other people as well, probably the reason why that's the case is because Shinegreymon is a Tamer-reliant deck. And due to that, you play a high number of Tamers and stuff like that, and it is very weak. Like, you can break a lot with the deck. You can just, for example, you can have a hand full of Tamer, and that will suck. And yeah, let me actually close that. Sorry that you have to see that. I'm gonna blur that. Oh, my webcam is gonna be there, so you're probably not gonna see that at all. But yeah, Discord just popped up. But yeah, Shinegreymon, of course, great removal. If you have a significant amount of Tamers, you can basically remove everything. You can decide to destroy a lot of weak stuff, one big mon, and it's still gonna be very effective attacker with just having a nice inheritables and being a definitely a strong Digimon as well. With all the Tamers, gets another power boost. And yeah, definitely bumps finally yellow up to a viable competitive deck. The best you can see yellow as of now in 1.0 is like the blue-yellow recovery hybrid with Kaiser Nails and shenanigans. But yeah, it definitely still surprised to see it in B tier. I definitely thought it would be A or S, something around there. But yeah, these are the numbers. Like, I can't really do much about that. It's down here, or not down here. It's in the middle. B tier is exactly the middle, so it's down there. And we actually have a third deck in the middling B tier, which, like I said, same percentage, 14 times of the 100 decks were these kind of deck. Similar to Ragnalordmon, I had to consolidate the different colors, because the different color bases you can play this deck. And this is another one I'm excited about. This is the second one I'm trying to build, which is going to be Imperialdramon. Most of them are blue, but there are some which have a green base and try to play the green Imperialdramon more often. But I decided to consolidate them, because both variants play both Imperialdramons, just in different ratios and stuff like that. And most of them are blue, that's why I have the blue background there. And yeah, I'm personally very excited about that. It's kind of a similar aggressive strategy as Metagame. You try to go wide, you have a lot of jamming Digimon, and then you play the Imperialdramon, they all get ready again, you attack again, and then you get multiple attacks off in one round. All of them potentially having jamming, and then they survive. Opponent gets a lot of security lost. They have to deal with your board, they have to deal with the more aggression you're throwing at them. And there's just a lot of scary stuff. Another thing with Imperialdramon, of course, is that you don't have to attack them, because if you look at the jamming mods we have as of now, which are like the 4K champions in, I think not every color, but most of the colors have one of them, like Frigimon in blue, for example, is that you attack, they survive because of jamming, and then they just die to an attack of the opponent. With Imperialdramon, you can attack, get free security gone, play Imperialdramon, have them ready, and then they can't be attacked anymore. So you don't, I like personally, I like the kind of the, what's called, versatility, that's the word, of that. Sorry, I'm not a native English speaker, by the way, I'm from Germany, so sorry if I butcher some words. But yeah, that's Imperialdramon is gonna be exciting. Blue is my favorite color. I'm sick of blue Omnimon, I get that. I'm sick of it myself. I prefer currently playing Metagame decks. But yeah, so I'm very excited about Imperialdramon, because especially if you look even more at the future and look at what's coming with BT4 and stuff like that, Imperialdramon decks are getting even more support and getting a bit higher on the tier list as well. So yeah, very excited for that. But yeah, now going on to the A tier. We have one deck in the A tier, one deck in the S tier, and then we have all 7 left. So 2 decks you're probably all thinking about, which are still left, I mean, let's not spoil anything. You're probably, if you looked at the cards and looked at the meta decks, there are 2 decks which are still missing, and you might start thinking, okay, both of them, it's not really safe yet, which is S and which is A tier. But looking at the data I have gathered, at the A tier we have green Ceresmon. Ceresmon topped out of the 100 times 17 times, so 3 times more than down there at the B tier. And yeah, for that, of course, there's a big disclaimer though about that. Because as we know, or most of you probably know, 2 very important cards for the deck, the Agumon and the Hidden Potential card, are limited to 1 now. In the meta I looked at, like all the decks I looked at, they weren't limited yet. So I didn't have enough data, or to be fair, I did not have any data on the metagame with the ban. Because if I would look at the meta right now with the ban, of course there are way more other cards that we have BT4, we have BT5, and it all would screw the whole perception on the deck of Ceresmon in the 1.5 metagame. That's I decided to rather just look at without the ban. It was an A tier. With the ban, how much it's going to affect that? That's what we will find out basically once the 1.5 drops. I'm excited to find that out as well. Green is one of my top 3 colors as well. It's again, I can see it's blue, green, black, and then the rest I don't really care much about. But yeah, green of course very strong with download effect. You can evolve even cheaper, and with Ceresmon you get nice control on the opponent, keeping them suspended, which green already does pretty well. Like just keeping the opponent board suspended, killing them, have piercing, and keep it suspended with Puppetmon, stuff like that. That's just going to be improved. Like they got more tools to do that, and they do get more tools to evolve even cheaper. That's why they're up here. Like I said, evolving is the main mechanic of the game, and if you can do that better than everyone else, you're most likely going to be the best deck. Or one of the best decks. Like you can see right here in the list, it's actually one deck which is better than that. At least perform better than that, I should say. But yeah, like I said, can't really tell. It might that drops down to B, which would basically, or other way around, everything else would drop up to A. Everyone would go up 1 below that, because, like I said, it's an A tier because it's better than the other 3, but it's still worse than the last, because the last has actually a pretty big advantage. Like I said, if you look from the bottom to top, 5%, 7%, 14%, so there's a big step already from 7 to 14. Then 40%, we go in A tier and 17%. And then in the S tier, we look at one deck which has 27%. The biggest step, a 10% step. This deck topped by way far the most in all of the decks, like close to a third of the times. This the topping deck was a variant of this one, which is I can see you all sighing already because it's Red Omnimon. And I know we just be hoping that 1.5 would be the salvation to get rid of the Omnimon supremacy. This time Blue Omnimon. 1.5 will drop. Most likely Red Omnimon is going to be the new king. And yeah, once again we have to face Omnimons, but they get even more stuff. They get a different Omnimon variant. They can run more like what Red Omnimon does already. Like this time is they can play Volcanic-Dramon, so they're better off versus aggressive decks like Rookie Rush. They can play the Gaia Forces to have easy removal, and like I said, they get the second Omnimon, which is yeah, a nice board wipe as well, like similar to Volcanic-Dramon shenanigans. The thing which Blue did better, they had cheaper evolution steps. That gets a little bit narrowed down in Red as well, since they got the Lathamon line, like the line of which evolves to Volcanic-Dramon. That is very cheap. And yeah, so they kind of get even there. They're still missing the memory manipulation, but like I said, the other benefits they get, that they get to play the other Alter S, they get to play Gaia Force, they get to play potentially more Volcanic-Dramons if you don't have enough Alter S and stuff like that. Just puts it up there in the S tier. And yeah, I'm sorry to tell you, at least what the data here looks like. It might be, of course, that there might be something different. But to be fair, no real bans or limitations hit this thing, the Red Omnimon. To be fair as well, like the limitation on the green variant was mainly due what happened once the BT4 and both the BT4 meta was around, because then the thing got insane with other Digimon which dropped, which could be done there. But yeah, like I said, this is my factual tier list for the upcoming 1.5 meta. Let me of course know in the comments what did surprise you. What is your opinion on that? Because now I can say, okay, yeah, it's your opinion, but that's the, like, where are your numbers? Like, back your opinion up with numbers. That's all I'm asking for all of the tier list creator out there. Don't just throw your opinion in my face and like say, yeah, here, that's it. I mean, I guess that's fine content and it can be entertaining to have a discussion there. But maybe I'm studying currently biomechanics. Maybe I'm too, like, scientific. I prefer a scientific approach, which actually has, like, some data to back up your opinion. So yeah, that's why I decided to create this tier list. I hope you enjoy. If you did, of course, leave a like, comment, subscribe. You know the deal. Hit me on Twitter, Facebook. All the links in the description, and I will see you another time. Ciao.